Just you want to.
Okay, then our first presenter is Harjabay Horazala Yusufullah with his scientific work, specific features of national mentality reflected in English and Karakalpak proverbs. His scientific advisor is Doctor of Philosophy of Philological Science, Tübürbayeva Aliya Undasina.
Сен ана жақта тұр. Өзін таныстырып жүр.
Good morning, dear juniors and our students. I'm a student of course at Calcutta State University, Philology and Language Teaching English Language branch. Today my work is on the topic specific features of national mentality reflected in English and Calcutta proverbs.
And our second presenter is Munajva Dulsaner Mirgalkızı, with her scientific work developing learners' listening and speaking skills using integrated skills approach. Her scientific advisor is Doctor of Philosophy and Philological Science, Imratov Rashid Huzunlu.
Good morning, dear teachers and students. I am Munajva Dulsaner, the fourth student of Linguistics branch. And our topic is developing learners' listening and speaking skills with integrated skills approach.
Next presenter is Saidova Sarnas Umidbayevna. Her scientific work is comparative analysis of the conversion process in English and Russian acquisition. Her scientific advisor is Doctor of Philosophy and Philological Science, Najim Babulayev.
Good morning, dear teachers and students. My full name is Serbina Saitova, and my work is about comparative analysis in English and Russian acquisition.
Next presenter is Aziva Maris Yuruvakis. With her scientific work, the role of social networks in teaching and learning foreign languages. Her scientific advisor is Matmaratva Rita Zahid.
Good morning, respected teachers and dear students. I'm a final year student of Faculty of Foreign Languages, and my full name is Aziva Tumaris. And our bachelor's thesis theme is about the role of social networks in teaching and learning foreign languages.
Yes. Next presenter is Kalhanva Aynura Orunbayevna. With her scientific work, effective techniques in teaching vocabulary to young learners. Her scientific advisor is Doctor of Philosophy and Philological Science, Imratov Rashid Huzunlu.
Good morning, dear jurors and students. My full name is Aynura Kanwa. I am a final year student of Faculty of Foreign Languages, and our topic is effective techniques in teaching vocabulary to young learners. Uh, and first of all, we all know that the vocabulary is the heart of any language. Without vocabulary, we can speak and we can communicate each other, uh, and understand and express our thoughts and ideas. And especially for young learners, vocabulary is very important because it gives them a strong base for their future development. If children know more words, they can improve their speaking and they can boost their confidence and all of skills like writing, reading, uh, listening, as well as uh, reading. Secondly, learning new vocabulary at a young age is great for their brains and it helps their memory and thinking skills. And children learn new words, can express their ideas uh, easily, and become more confident in their communication with others. And furthermore, using fun and effective techniques in teaching vocabulary, like songs, games, flashcards, etc., makes learning more enjoyable. When children are having fun, they are motivated and excited to learn. And by this way, they can remember and say words uh, long term and will enjoy learning English even more. And when it comes to aim of my work, is the aim of my work is to show how using good techniques can help young learners learn new words better. And it looks at how these techniques help children remember in their vocabulary and use in their conversations. And finally, this work explains some materials and activities that teachers use in their classroom during their teaching process, and how these methods help make learning process more fun and enjoyable. Mm, Teaching vocabulary to young learners has its own special features, uh, and one thing that children learn differently than adults. So teachers need to use different methods for both of them. And here are some important points that we should mention. The first one is short attention span. Uh, as you know, children become more bored in the process of learning, so teachers should um, keep them focused by using interesting and unique methods like sing songs or playing games by these ways. And the next one is learning through plays. And children understand and remember the words when they play or move. And that's why games and role plays are essential in the process. Uh, the next one is needs for visual support in the classroom. Uh, Young learners learn best with pictures, flashcards, real objects, and colorful materials. Visual aids help them understand and remember new words. And also, repetition is important in their process. Children need to hear and use new words many times to remember them. Uh, and teachers often repeat words through songs and stories. Mm, and when I say about the principles of uh, teaching vocabulary to learners, first of all, we must remember that children learn in a different way than adults, and uh, The first principle is meaningful learning. This means we should teach new words in real situations, like through stories or daily routines or their daily conversations with each other. Uh, and so children understand how use these words in real life. The second one is, as I mentioned about the repetition and the repetition and practice. Young learners need to hear many times these words. And the next one is the use of visuals and actions. Um, Children understand better when they see pictures that something and or actions with a word. And uh, for example, while saying the word notebook, we show the notebook to students so that by seeing this object, they can remember the word better. Uh, and another important principle is using fun and engaging activities. Mm, Students learn better when they happy and active. That's why teachers use some kind of methods in the classroom. And finally, we should have the encouraging communication, and we should let the children speak fluently, even though they make mistakes. And by this way, we can boost their confidence while speaking. Mm, and uh, when I talk about the effective techniques for teaching vocabulary to learners, they're uh, using realia means using real life objects in the classroom. For example, uh, real objects in the classroom, and then using pictures. Uh, The second technique is using pictures. Sometimes we can bring the classroom big objects like plane, like a lion. At that times, we can bring the clear pictures of these objects, and we should show the students, and in that way, they can remember these words easily and better, even if they have never seen these objects in their real lives. And using synonyms and antonyms uh, can be effective method for them. Mm,
I think it is enough, yeah? Okay, if I start asking questions. Well, what do you understand by young learners? Please tell us. Young learners, who are they? What is the age of young learners?
uh, Young learners, especially school children, uh, primary primary classes.
Primary classes, yes.
Yeah,
From
and
first,
so no, from first to six
six,
or seven,
maybe four, primary, if primary, yes?
and addition.
Fifth and sixth.
Yeah.
Okay, you told in your presentation, giving about synonyms and antonyms, if I'm not mistaken. Yes? What kind of synonyms or antonyms can give young learners?
Mm, For example, happy, and the next is glad, like, and antonym. When we use antonyms, it's also essential for their thinking and compare the words.
Thank you.
Okay, Ainura, except repetition, what kind of techniques the most effective techniques
achieve vocabulary skills?
Except repetition, as I mentioned above, we can bring the real life objects in the classroom. It's
How
really
you can relate to real life objects? For example, you maybe use the pictures.
small objects that are found in our houses, like notebook, apple, and fruits. Maybe when it comes to animals, we can bring in the classroom. In this case, we bring the pictures of these objects.
And they should result or maybe name.
By seeing these pictures or real life objects, they can remember the words easily, as you know.
Okay, thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Our next presenter is Turiyeva Oğulnavan Avacan, research scientific work, lingual-cultural investigation of time physiology in English and Russian. Her scientific advisor is candidate of philological science, docent Hajiva Debar Tajmuran.
Good morning, dear teachers and students. And our work is lingual cultural investigation of terminology in English and Russian. And we will start our work from that introduction. The subject of the work is analysis in English and Russian physiological units that express time, and the aim of our work is to describe the features of the expression of time in English in physiological units in English and Russian languages. The scientific novelty of this work is the linguistic and cultural analysis of physiological units that reflect time in relation to the English and Russian linguistic cultures. The significance of this work is to substantiate time in phraseology as a category of lingual culturology, to conduct a comparative analysis of phraseological units within the semantic field of time, and to identify the relationship between the universal and cultural specific characteristics of time. And the practical significance of this work is determined by the possibility of applying its result in the development of general and special courses in intercultural communication, phraseology, and as well as in practical classes in English and Russian. So I want to talk about theoretical frameworks of our work is that Aristotle, Augustine, and Kant, they are key thinkers of the time in philosophy. Time as a sequence of events, said Aristotle, and the next one, Augustine, said that past, present, and future in human consciousness. And Kant said that time is a priori form of perception. The next one is lingual culturology. Philological units as mirrors of cultural stereotypes, as Telia said 1996. Internal form of the etymological image linking phraseological units to cultural archetypes. For example, kick the bucket, it's there's rituals. The next one is phraseological units, stable, non-literal expressions like bite the bullet. Classified into fusions, units, and combination, it's Vinogradov 1947. The methodology is like comparative analysis of 140 Russian and 200 English phraseological units from phraseological dictionaries, Kunin and Vasilievich, semantic and lingual cultural analysis, identified 9 phraseosemantic groups like soon, late, past, future, examined figurative component as an animal symbolism in early bird. I have talked about physiological units, definition, and features. From the definition, stable expressions with figurative meaning, like break the ice. The next one, features like semantic unity, non-compositional, and meaning like spill the beans, literal spilling. Cultural connotation, it reflects historical events like после дождичка в четверг, it's a fatalism. And internal form, diachronic link to etymology by the skin of one's teeth, it's a biblical joke. Examples for comparisons, English, strike while the iron is hot, is efficiency. In Russian, куры железо пока горячо, same imagery, different cultural emphasis. Classification and phraseological units, Vinogradov, 1947. There are three classifications of phraseological units, phraseological fusions, and the last one is phraseological combinations. Cultural connotations of phraseological units, English as a punctuality on the dot, time is money. The next one, future-oriented, the early bird catches the worm. In Russian, polyachronic, flexibility like работа не волк, work isn't a book, it can wait. The next one is fatalism, что будет, то и будет. What will be, will be. English phraseological units prioritize control over time. Russian phraseological units accept is fluidity. There are 9 phraseosemantic groups. The first one is sooner, later, long ago, recently, past, future. They are all said about semantic field of time. The first example is early in English and Russian. I will compare. The positive is rise with the lark, and negative is go to bed with the chickens. In Russian, it's positive встать с петухами. In proverb, кто рано встает, тому Бог даст. God rewards early risers. Both cultures early rising, but associate it with different virtues. English is productivity, Russian is divine favor. The next example is late in English and Russian. English is a day late and $1 short, missed opportunity. The next one is that ship has sailed. In Russian, поезд ушел, the train left. And the next one is после дождичка в четверг, after rain on Thursday. English stresses consequences, Russian accept inevitability. The next example is past and future in English and Russian. In English, it's the time has come. Make hay while the sun shines. In Russian, it's цыплят по осени считают. Don't count chickens before they hatch. Что будет, то и будет. The next example is now versus then. In English and Russian. Cultural contrast in English, time is a resource. In Russian, time is a cyclical. In English, in a jiffy, time and tide wait for Newman. In Russian, работа не волк, лес не убежит. Отложить в долгий ящик, put it in a longer drawer. And the next example is fast and slow. Proverbial wisdom. English values speed, Russian values deliberation. In English, speed efficiency, and in Russian, patience is wisdom. In English, in the blink of an eye, time is money. In Russian, it's Москва не сразу строилась. Тише едешь, дальше будешь. The next one is cultural implications. Phraseology is a treasure house of language preserving cultural archetypes. It said Clooney. In English, time, linear, measurable, tide of productivity. Phraseological units emphasize control, strike while the iron is hot. In Russian, time fluid, relation, tied to communal values. Phraseological units reflect acceptance. Что будет, то и будет. Semantic analysis of idioms with the figurative components. For example, the figurative component is the associative image underlining an idiom's meaning, thinking in cultural knowledge. Dobrovolsky, 1966. In characteristics, it's non-literal, not based on visual representations, but on cultural knowledge, like kick the bucket, it's a desk. Abstraction level operates everyday knowledge level as an early bird diligence. Example, English, hell freezes over, it's a never, religious imagery. And the next one is, когда рак на горе свистнет, when a crab whistles on a mountain. Folklore, absurdity. Methodology for analyzing figurative components. Steps. There are 3 steps, 5 steps. Identify the prototype situations. Literal meaning, like spill the beans, accidental relevation. Trace cultural knowledge linked to historical archetypal sources. Example, Russian. Цыплят по осени не считают. Agrarian life. The next one is evaluate connotation, positive and negative. Universal culture specific. Example for this, strike while the iron is hot. Prototype is blacksmithing urgency, and cultural insight, it's a shared imagery, but English emphasizes efficiency. Russian emphasizes opportunity. Long ago and recently, biblical and historical imagery. Shared biblical roots that English when Adam was a boy. It's a hyperbolic, long ago. And the next one is Russian, Адамовы времена, Adam's time, same concept. The next one is culture-specific realia. In English, when Queen Anne was alive, in 18th century reference. In Russian, said that времена царя Гороха, time of King P, folklore absurdity. English favors historical figures, Russian uses fairy tales. Time-related idioms sooner or later. In English, it's a rise with the lark, bird imagery. Diligence, positive. And the next one is till the cows come home, exaggeration. Endless time, humorous. In Russian, it's Сайт с петухами, rise with the roosters. Agrarian life, it's a virtue. The next one is после дождичка в четверг, after rain on Thursday. Fatalistic, it's a never. English uses animals for productivity and
Can I ask a question? I'm sorry. Olanova, did you analyze from historical point of view all these your samples, examples from English and language?
Yes. I've worked with
Historical
my
analysis,
yes, in historical.
or based on today's modern literature, you analyze? Which one?
Well, I use also modern work and historical.
Both.
Yes, both of them.
Thank you.
So I would like to ask the next question. Possibly, how many phraseological units you have analyzed in your research?
Analyzing, I've worked with my teacher, Hajira Bilbaraba, and we have worked more than others, I think. So it's a bit difficult with working like this respectively person. So I can say that approximately 10 or 15 works.
No, I mean, how many phraseological units?
I said that in presentation 9, phrases semantic units.
It was included in your work. You have given here that you have analyzed more than 140.
In Russian and 200 in English.
Okay.
Okay. In the second chapter, you have 2 semantic analysis of resolution units. Next is semantic analysis of mediums. Yes.
Can you say a bit loudly, please? I can hear
Semantic analysis of resolution units, and the second is semantic analysis of idioms. Yes.
Yes.
What's the difference between resolution units and idioms?
Well, phraseology in sorry, I can't answer for this question.
Idioms is a part of resolution units, which we can look, understand why it is complex.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. May I take your seat?
Our next presenter is Kanata Firmanali Erkinovich, with his scientific work, The Impact of Globalization on English Language Teaching in Secondary School, Elementary School Students. His scientific advisor is Doctor of Philosophy and Philological Science, Grigorий Vazhda.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Kanat Firmanali, and we're pleased to present our bachelor's thesis titled "The Impact of Globalization on English in Teaching in English Language Teaching in Secondary Schools." This research paper was conducted under the supervision of PhD Grigorий Vazhda at Karagandha State University. Well, introduction. Globalization is changing in many areas of life, including in education. Students now grow up in global world, influenced by technology, media, and international communication. Our research focuses on how these trends, global trends, are transforming English language teaching, ELT, especially in secondary school, in Pakistan. The object of our research is ELT in schools, and the subject is how globalization affects teaching methods and students' learning. We used the works of Giddens, David Crystal, and Sandra McKay to understand globalization in conditions. Globalization connects people through economics, technology, and culture. It's also changed how students learn and what skills are important. English has become the dominant global language used in business, science, and online platforms. English is no longer only a subject, it's a bridge between cultures, as not by Crystal and culture. English has spread worldwide. Today it helps people from different backgrounds communicate even if they are not native speakers. We used a mixed method approach. Our research was conducted in 4 secondary schools, like school numbers 12 and 46 in Nukuz, and school number 1st and 22nd in Tilku district. We worked with 20 teachers and 80 students in grades 5 to 9. We used serious classroom observation and informal interviews. We studied how students respond to global content and how teachers use new methods or digital tools. Well, our results showed that students, especially in urban areas, enjoy English media, music, games, and movies. Their motivation increased when English lessons used content they found meaningful and connected to real life. We saw that students became more active and confident when lessons included in global topics and technology. Many students are curious about their culture, food, holiday, daily life, and fashion. But the textbooks used in many schools are outdated. They focus too much on grammar and lack real words, global content. And teachers also said that these books do not reflect modern global issue or encourage cultural thinking. To solve this, we recommend updating textbooks to include more international content to match students' interests. Teachers' feedback and recommendations. Teachers report several challenges like not enough digital tools, large class sizes, needs for more training in new methods. They also ask for support to help combine the national telegram with global content. Teachers are open to modern changes, but they need more resources and time to apply them effectively. Uzbekistan has taken strong steps to modernize English teaching. According to Presidential Decree DP 134 and PQ 5117, English is now taught from grade 1. New methods focus on communication, digital tools like Kahoot and Qz, and student-centered lesson. We found that these reforms are working well in urban schools, but rural areas still need more support. Digital platforms such as YouTube, Telegram, and Quizlet increase students' motivation and help make lessons interactive. However, we also saw a big technology gap between rural and urban schools. Some schools do not have internet or enough devices. Teachers said, technology helps us, but not every school can use it equally. Many textbooks still focus mostly on grammar and memorization. There is no strong need for locations, reading global content with local traditions. Students want topics that connect with their real life. English should be taught in a way that is both globally useful and locally meaningful. Uzbekistan's educational system is developing fast. Our research supports this reform. We saw that early English instructions, digital methods, and communicative activities improve.
Sorry for interrupting. You may move to your practical part. Listen.
Chapter 2, but I'm in process.
Yes.
Here's the key recommendations, discussion of findings, and conclusion. Last one, like it's almost end.
Okay, discussion of findings, yes?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Discussions and findings. In short, globalization has a positive impact on BLT. Students are more motivated when their content is interesting and modern. But school need to be better materials, digital tools, and training. We saw a clear gap between what students want and what school can provide. But in conclusion, globalization brings new challenges, but also many opportunities. English teaching should focus on real-world communication, intercultural skills, and digital tools, not only grammar or exam tasks. Here is literature and books that I used. So, thank you for your attention. We'll be happy to answer your questions.
Your work is like the impact of globalization on the English language. Yes. First, what do you understand by globalization?
Globalization is when in English teaching. Yeah. Globalization is when the English language becoming wider and worldwide, and we have to learn it, but not in an old type of traditional type when we study, for example, only in grammar. We have to study it in a, for example, in modern way, using technologies, canvases, projectors, and also laptops. using YouTube, Telegram, and these platforms.
Using projectors, smartphones, is it a
Yeah.
position language teaching?
Because in modern era, you have to use it because the needs are changing.
Also, can you give a bit more detailed more information about your experiment?
About questionnaire.
Yeah.
Questionnaire. Yeah, well,
Okay, in your work you have mentioned that you use the questionnaire, yes? Is it for teachers or school children?
well, we have both, like for teachers and for students too.
Okay, which schools?
We use, well, I've chosen the first one and second 22nd school in the Turku district and also 12 and 46 in Nukus.
Two schools?
Yeah, like four schools, but two in Nukus, two in Turku.
But in your work, if I'm not mistaken, you mentioned about two schools from Nikus and one from Turku.
No, I mentioned two from Turku.
So I would like to ask you, Manara, could you give any exact information about the benefits and the challenges of globalization in teaching process? In teaching English,
Oh,
what is the benefits or challenges of globalization?
well, as I have experience with this, like when I studied English, it was a bit problematic because there was no modern technology such as this. You have to learn only grammar via books. It was kind of problematic, and also it was not standing on one place where you are. And also, when I was in a practice in 12th school, near to Mega Campus, I saw how, for example, teachers are using new technologies, and they were learning too fast.
Okay, Mona, in your presentation you mentioned that mixed method approaches. Yes? Can you clarify why it's called the mixed method approaches?
Mixed method approach is when you mix modern technologies with traditional one, and you provide lesson. For example, you may use projectors and laptop. We are using traditional books.
Okay, how we can relate approach? Approach.
Approach.
Because you mentioned that mixed method approaches.
Thank you for your presentation, Ivana. You may proceed, and our next presenter is.
Hoca'ya başlarda Furkat kazandı. With her scientific work, Language Means Creating Linguistic Personality in the novel Serious of Satan by Mary Corelli. Her scientific advisor is Dr. Philosophy and Philological Science, Murat Zashita.
Good morning, everyone. My full name is Zashita, and my work is a linguistic selection device working about the personalities the sort of sudden by Maria Corley. First of all, I would like to tell you why I chose this word. And when I was learning the stylistic devices, and also at the same time I was reading the book that was the Sword of Saturn, and I loved the way how the writer wrote, and I thought that writing the writing any kind of literature is just a simple thing, but it wasn't. And the stylistic device, it is a figure of speech that is special ways of using language to make writing more vivid and emotional. In this, my work, our work, we used we worked on using how Maria Corelli used the stylistic device in her novel, yes. And she is a 90s, late 90s writers, one of the famous and from British. She all the time uses the stylistic devices in her literature, and our work was in paying attention a lot about the creating the personal stylistic, and it was the story is about two narrative and characters named Jeffrey Tempest and the Prince Lucio, which was the devil. And Maria Corelli stylish writing is rich with ornate vocabulary and biblical allusion. Also, she uses all the time the psychology. She used the she used the philosophy and the psychology at the same time. She often combines poetic devices with psychology and philosophy. And it wasn't for the first time. I've used to read it in the Russian, but it wasn't really. But it was really hard in English because the language used it was also the old English, and the metaphors, everything she used was the first for me, new. And but there is not only simple finding the stylistic devices. There was used also the such as there was combined with metaphors similar or irony with the others. And the one of the examples which was used is was words by the tempest. The purple of the morning flushed the heavens like wine poured into crystal. There was a used the metaphor plus similar, and it was talked about the how changed the tempest's life from poor writer to a rich man. And becoming rich, he understood that the morality of the money having and being a rich is not about the money at all. And the Lucius also the main character, which is used a lot irony. The one of the example of his speech is "I am the shadow that follows wealth and fame." Maria Corley uses the irony the most to express the criticize society. The example of that is modern science will one day discover that the soul is a mistake of the imagination. As you pay attention to these speeches and the personalities are not simple, and it can um, there is not used the simple words. There isn't used the simple words, or there are not is our daily life speech. Uh, she uses the lexical stylistic devices not morally, but also as a powerful tool to create deep, um, memorable characters and generalizing narrative voice through metaphor, irony, epithet, and other devices. She constructed a unique linguistic personality for both the character and the narrator, enabling readers to experience the psychological and the spiritual journey at the heart of the novel. And that's all. Yes.
Şahzadayız.
Yes.
Şimdi burada Şahzada'nın videolarını önce basılmadan videolar bazen sırada. Sırada koyduğu kaçma.
Şarkıda mezunuz musun? Hiçbir de Rus'un pozisyonu Rus'un üzerinde. Türkiye'ye başvurdu. Yıldan bir ne? Ne? You have analyzed studies in devices. Yes. You have mentioned about metaphor, simile. Okay, what's the difference between metaphor and simile?
There is not a bit different because the metaphor is using words as or like, and it's to tell about to describe one thing with using the words as or like, and the simile is not using that words. Without using the as or like, describing something or someone.
Oldu mu?
Next presenter is Aytbay Başmagul, another bilingual, with her scientific work, The Role of Educational Mobile App in Teaching and Learning English. Her scientific advisor is Doctor of Philosophy of Philological Science, Najib Vladimir.
Good morning, dear teachers and dear professors and respected committee members. My name is Aytbay Başmagul, and today I'm honored to present our diploma research on the topic, the role of mobile applications in teaching and learning English. So, first of all, this study focused on a very timely and relevant issue, how modern mobile technologies can enhance the English learning experience, especially among secondary school students in Uzbekistan. As we all know, the president of Uzbekistan, Shavkat Mirziyoyev, has emphasized the urgent need to create a new system of foreign languages. In response, our education system is being transformed, and one of the key strategies is to introduce innovative technologies, including mobile apps, to support English language learning. And in today's technological world, children and teenagers are growing up surrounded by smartphones and mobile apps. So the idea of using this familiarity as an educational tool has enormous potential. That's why we choose to explore how mobile apps can support or even improve English teaching, especially in developing listening and reading skills. The aim of our research was to investigate the effectiveness of various mobile apps in teaching to 10th and 11th grade students. Our objectives were to identify the most commonly used mobile apps among students and to explore how these apps support English learning and to examine teachers' approaches when using these tools and to evaluate how effectively mobile apps are integrated into classroom practice. And the main research questions included: what is the role of mobile applications in supporting English learning? And which apps are most popular? What teaching methods are used with mobile apps, and how effective is their integration by teachers? The novelty of this study lays in its comprehensive approach rather than focusing on one skill. It analyzes how mobile apps influence multiple areas: listening, vocabulary, speaking, and motivation. It offers fresh insight into personalized and autonomous language learning through mobile technologies. The research is grounded in theoretical contributions from both Uzbek and international scholars like Krashen, Richards, Munan, and Jalolov. So, methodology. We used a quantitative research design specifically, and 32 item Likert scale questionnaire to collect data from 30 students in grades 10th and 11th at school 20 in Nukus. Data were analyzed using SPSS software, and results were expressed as percentages based on frequency of app usage and perceived skill improvement. And the findings reveal that the most used apps were YouTube, used by 28 students, and Duolingo by 25 students, and TikTok by 20 students. Apps like Elsa Speak, Hello English, and Fluent.U were less commonly used. Students reported noticeable improvement in listening skills from using apps with strong audio or video components. Teachers often use apps as supplementary tools, but not always in a structured way. So, advantages were flexibility. Students can learn anytime and anywhere. Motivation. Gamification features increase engagement and personalization. Apps offer adaptive paths for different learners. And challenges were risk of distraction and multitasking, limited access to smartphones, internet in rural areas, and lack of teacher mediation and structured integration. Concerns about data privacy and content quality. So in conclusion, mobile apps significantly support English language learning, especially listening, motivation, and vocabulary. However, their success depends on proper integration with teacher guidance and curriculum alignments. Thank you for your attention, and now I will be happy to answer your questions.
Thank you very much, Maru.
Is it okay if I start asking questions?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm not asking you. I'm asking you.
I'm sorry.
What kind of apps did you use in your pedagogical activity, in your practice?
That
With
have
students?
Thank you for your question. As I have mentioned it in my practice, I use it apps like Duolingo and also Hello English and Elsa Speak were very useful for students to 10th and 11th grade at School 20 in Nupus.
One of you mentioned the word integration several times.
Yes.
What is it? How can you explain?
Integration.
What is it?
Um,
The synonym is how can you explain? Integration of teaching and the mobile apps.
I think it's like work with students.
So integration is a combination, joining, connection. That's it.
Okay, Shmaran, what was the challenges and the difficulties while using mobile apps for learners?
First of all, advantages. May I start from advantages? Advantages were flexibility. Challenges were risk of distraction and multitasking for students, and limited access to smartphones like internet in rural areas, and also lack of teacher mediation and structured integration, and concerns about data privacy and content quality also.
Okay, thank you for your perfect presentation, Shmaran. You made it easy.
Thank you.
Our next presenter is Razat Bergen Abdulaziz Atibekova. With his work, the use of phraseology containing eating or sim in English and Kırgızstani languages. His scientific advisor is Doctor of Philosophy and Philological Science, Sadat Vazarima Baksın.
Good morning, dear professors, teachers, and fellow students. My name is Razat Bergen Abdulaziz, fourth-year student of the English Linguistics Department at Kırgızistan State University. Today, I'm honored to present our qualification paper titled The Use of Phraseology Containing Eating Lexem in English and Kırgızstani Languages. So why we choose this topic? We choose this topic because idioms are very interesting part of any languages. They don't just show grammar, they show culture, history, and how people think. Especially idioms with food and eating are very expressive. Both English and Karakalpak languages have many such idioms, and we want to study how they are similar and different. Purpose and objectives of our research. The main purpose of our research is to compare food-related in idioms in English and Karakalpak. I had four several tasks. The first one to explain what phraseological units are. The second to find and classify eating related idioms. The third to compare their grammar and meaning. The last one is to analyze how culture and thinking are shown in these idioms. Theoretical background. Phraseological units are fixed expressions with figurative meaning. For example, in English, the idiom "kick the bucket" means to die. It's not about real buck. It's a metaphor. So, a famous linguist Kunin said idioms are stable and idiomatic. He divided them into types like fusions, unities, and combinations. Also, George Lakoff and Mark Johnson said that idioms are not just language decorations, they are based on how we experience the world, especially through the body, like eating, seeing, moving, etc. What are eating lexems? Eating lexems are words related to food, eating, or meals. Examples in English: eat, bite, bread, salt, butter. In Karkalpak, chew, naan, tuz. These words are often used in idioms because food is an important part of life and culture. Let me give you some examples in English. Spill the beans. Reveal to secret. Bite off more than you can chew. To take on too much work. Swallow your pride. To be humble. In Kargalpak, nandı kadirleu, respect bread. Symbol of respect and life. Hamırdan kıl soğurganday, like pulling a hair from dove, very gentle. Ağzına az salu, to provide food to someone, means support and care. So we can see that both languages are food idioms, but they reflect different cultural values. English idioms are often about emotions and personal feelings. Karakalpak idioms often show moral lessons, family values, and hospitality. Cultural and cognitive aspects. These idioms are not random. They are based on way people think their culture. In English, food idioms can show ambition, very hungry for success. In Karakalpak, they show community values. Bernarda Bulugcu, to share one bread, close friends. Also, some idioms are used to bless or curse people in Karakalpak. For example, aspolsun means may your food be blessed. Such expressions are not found in English. This shows how special food is in Karakalpak culture. To sum up, eating idioms are rich and emotional part of both languages. They help us understand not just the words, but the people who use them. They show what people respect, fear, or love. This research helps us learn more about both languages and their cultures. And this is the end of our presentation on eating idioms in English and Karakalpak. Thank you for your attention. I'll be happy to answer your questions.
Thank you.
How many idioms did you take into analysis? How many idioms in English language you analyzed? You have analyzed in your paper. But the topic is very interesting. I think for the first time they are having this topic. Go on. Rashid? If I'm not mistaken. Is that a clear question?
Yes.
How many? One of your group mates said about 200 idioms, yes? You analyze. Yes, resolution units, sorry.
Maybe a little bit. 40 or 45.
40?
40. Or 45.
45. Thank you.
Otherwise,
So which idiom related to food we can use when we are hungry too much?
asposes.
Aşk o hangi idiom o? İdiom o. Hangi? As bir aydın. Bizim de aklımda yok. Bizim есть biliyor. Өзіңе хат ашып тұрмақ айтады ма? Люди başka.
Булган кәсіп. Очень тесты скучные, как тут осталось.
Ama doğru klasik. Aslında az çok biliyorum.
Karlı başlası ihtiyaç olduğu gibi kasılı vermeyi
Hak var.
şimdi kurtulucu son kapıda.
Thank you. You may take your seat. Next presenter.
Next presenter is Victoria Loshkuman Marathova, who is her scientific work using game techniques in teaching English for kids. Her scientific advisor is Doctor of Philosophy and Philological Science docent Jolda Sarkar.
Okay, good morning. Good morning, my examiners, dear examiners, and students, and my beautiful scientific advisors. Today I will be presenting my bachelor's thesis called using the game techniques in teaching English for kids. Okay, I will start. Today, English is a very important and popular language in the world. So it needs to be everywhere. So, like the many areas, technology, medicine, art, and other education, Uzbekistan is a young and independent country. So, Uzbekistan is a young and independent country, so it needs to work with other countries. So, the presidential decree is watched in the December 10, 2012. For the starting the English language for teachers for students teaching in the schools. Many teachers and the researchers are nowadays. Many teachers and the researchers are working with improving the game techniques for kids and children. In this research, we will look at how to teach the game and techniques in schools for kids, especially in the higher levels or the primary schools. After the presidential decree, the schools in Uzbekistan started teaching the students from grade 1. Grade 1, they are using the games and the speakings. The grade 2, they are starting teaching the alphabet, speaking, reading, and the spelling. Today, many programs still exist for teaching the students. For example, nowadays, in 2012 year, most children don't speak the English language very well, or they learn the language and then forget too quickly because of not using the games and the techniques. The aim of the research, the goal of the research is how games and the techniques are helpful at the classroom for teaching the students. And as a subject and the object of the work, subject is a different methods of teaching English. Object is a teaching methods for students and how to organize them in the classrooms.
The main goals of my work is the old and the new ways of the teaching the new language and the learning the new English language. The hypothesis is that English should be taught in the speaking and the grammar with together. It's my work's hypothesis. My work has four parts. First one is introduction. Second one is theoretical part. It's called in my research is the chapter 1. The chapter 2 is a practical part. The third one is the fourth one is a conclusion. Theoretical part is the research can help organize the English better in the classrooms. The practical part, I have used many ideas to use in the classroom languages. I have the two structure of the work. First one is a theory. In the theory part, we use many information and the techniques for using teachers. In the practical part, we with my scientific advisor add some real examples for using the teachers in the classroom. Okay, now I will start my chapter 1, theoretical aspect of the effective methods of teaching kids. In this theory part of the work, I will be given so many methods and principles for using teachers. The most important thing when the classroom teaching the new language is the principles. We can add the communicative orientation to this. Communicative orientation is a teaching approach that focuses on the communication on the real examples within the classroom language. And it's the main goal of the learning a new language of this chapter. With the rules of the communicative orientation, is have so many rules. First one is choosing the right situations with the games, and using repetition with new ideas is helpful for the learners with vocabulary. Young learners have don't much experience for the new language, so we should tell it to them with helping their native language. First one, the teacher should tell how to spell in the native language, then in English. For example, in our Karkalpak language, have a word mouth is similar to the English word owls, and in Karkalpak language has a sopa in English language is similar to the stool. So it's very similar, and the kids learn it very fastly. Then they also firstly the teachers should teach the students with the general skills and use the same not the same letters but also the different letters, and the reading also should be the two types, the silent way and the loud way. Using the native language is mostly if the teachers use the native language more, the students should be confused. So we use to them like the two principles. First one is the differentiation and the integration. Differentiation, we choose the ages, levels, and the type of the classrooms. The integration, we use the combination like the reading, listening, writing, and the speaking skills. All of them one type, but a different way. Rules of this method, like the differentiation and integration, is know the difference between each skill, like reading, listening, speaking, and the vocabulary. The students use both teacher's language and the recordings at one time, and teach them is with a step by step. Like first one is spelling. The grade one, as I said, the students learn with the speaking. So speaking is teach the first, then step by step writing, then they are reading and then listening. They're all listening. All lessons should be clear for the students. First, the teacher should learn all methods and prepare their lessons before the teaching the lessons. Teachers should be inactive, and the teacher's rule has 3 rules. First one is organize, teach, and check. The students also the three rules. So first one is learn the new things. learning at home and practicing in the real life situations. If the kids are use their new words in the real life situations, it's very helpful and they learn it very fastly than the older adults. To help them learn something new, first one, the teacher should
Okay. In your second chapter, the third sub-chapter, you analyze the difference between children and adult in learning.
Okay, adults are the
Okay. Are adults or children learn better English?
difference.
The difference is.
Okay, adults. Okay, the children, both of them learn faster, but the kids learn faster with the pronunciation. But adults is much logic with they learn with logic. So adults are learning the grammar and the other skills than the kids. Kids learn faster with the pronunciation.
Okay, but adults learn.
Yes,
better
adults
in
learn
general.
faster because
Yes.
they learn with because they need it. So learn. Kids have no choice.
Okay, both of them need to learn.
Okay?
Children and adults.
Yes.
They both need to learn English.
Yes, need
But
to learn.
adults learn better.
Adults
What's the
learn-
reason?
Because they have a logic. They
The reason is a goal.
go.
Aim.
Adults are
They have
the
different
older.
aims.
Yes, different
Aim.
things.
For example, for kids, learning English is kind of playing a game for children. What about the adults? You said you are quite right, I do agree with you. The aim is they have to learn English.
Yes, they have to.
Because they think
Yes.
this.
Plus background knowledge of adults will have to acquire better, quicker. Because in your native language, you know what is a subject, what is a predicate, what is an object, yes?
Yes.
But children do not know in their mother tongue.
Also, we wrote there. If we have some time, we teach to the older students because they learn it very clearly than the kids.
Okay, so Prima, you have mentioned about all the effectiveness of using games in teaching English for kids. Yeah, what about disadvantages?
Disadvantages is that children learn English with the games. If we don't teach them all the lesson we give the game, they have bored. So it's a disadvantage of the children with teaching with the games. So in all parts, we don't use the games in the presentation. We only teach them with the new words. It's a disadvantage of the all lessons should be the games.
So, they are the advantages of the using games.
Yes.
What about disadvantages?
Disadvantage is
maybe more noisy.
this have the more noisy or the less time. If the teacher shouldn't use the lesson very clearly, the time is up and the,
The next presenter is Fatma Umida. She is professor. Her scientific work is cooperative language learning in developing the learner's receptive skills. Her scientific advisor is Doctor of Philosophy and Philological Science, Yunura Tokrashik.
Okay. Good morning, our respected teachers and the dear students. My full name is Farhat Baumida James Partiza, and it's my honor to give a speech on my defense of my diploma. And my scientific advisor is Ilmurat Rashid Hojamuratovich. Okay.
Professor,
Sorry. Okay, our topic is cooperative language learning in developing the learner's receptive skills. Okay, today I am going to talk about the importance of cooperative language learning or CLL and in helping students like us improve our receptive skills, which are listening and reading. First of all, we need to understand that receptive skills are essential for learning a language. And if we cannot understand what we heard or read, we will not be able to communicate well. That's why listening and reading are very important in language learning. Now, how can CLL help? In cooperative language learning, students work together in pairs or small groups. We complete tasks together, share ideas, and help each other. This creates real-life situations where we practice listening and reading in a natural way. And also, for example, when we read a text group and discuss it, we improve our reading skills. And when we listen to our classmates during a group activity, we improve our listening skills. And also, this creates, in this way, CLL helps us practice receptive skills while communicating and solving problems together. Okay, another great thing about CLL is that it promotes interaction, peer support, and learner engagement. We are not just listening to the teacher, we are actively talking, asking questions, and then learning from each other. This makes lessons more fun and also interesting. Okay, also CLL is very flexible. It works in both modern classrooms with technology and in low resource classrooms with few materials. That means teachers everywhere use this method. Finally, cooperative language learning matches the goals of modern education. It helps us not only with a language, but also with important life skills like teamwork, communication, and critical thinking. Okay, our goal is to show how CLL helps students improve their listening and reading skills, which are very important for understanding and using a language. We also want to encourage teachers to use cooperative methods more often in their classroom. So exactly is cooperative. What exactly is cooperative language learning? CLL is a method where students work together in pairs or small groups. Instead of learning alone or just listening to the teacher, students communicate, share ideas, and to help each other learn. This creates a positive and a friendly learning environment. Also, no, you may ask why should we use CLL in English lessons? And there are many good reasons for this. First, it makes learning more active and meaningful. Students are not just sitting and listening; they are doing and also thinking and using the language. And secondly, CLL increases students' motivation and confidence. When learners help each other and succeed together, they feel more confident and enjoy the lesson more. Okay, third one is it creates a supportive atmosphere where students not afraid to ask questions or make mistakes. And finally, CLL develops critical thinking and problem-solving skills. While working in groups, students learn to explain, analyze, and understand the material better. And also, no, I would like to share with you some advantages and disadvantages of comparative language learning. Okay, let's start with the advantages. One of the biggest benefits of CLL is that it enhances receptive skills, especially listening and reading. When students work together in pairs or small groups, they listen to each other's ideas, share information, and help each other understand texts. This makes listening and reading practice more meaningful and interactive. Okay, another great advantage is that CLL promotes active learning. Instead of sitting quietly and just listening to the teacher, students are actively involved. They ask questions, explain things to their peers, or work together to solve problems. Okay, this helps students learn better and remember more. However, like NMS, CLL has also some disadvantages. Like one problem is unequal participation. In some groups, a few students may do all the work while others stay silent. This can make learning unfair and less effective for some students. And another issue is that CLL can be time consuming. Group activities often take longer than traditional lessons, especially if students need more time to organize their work, or if group discussions take too long. So, as we know, receptive skills are very important in learning a language. But students need to be motivated to develop these skills well. And that's where cooperative language learning can help them. Okay, the first way CLL supports motivation is through learning, through interaction. When students work together in small groups and they talk, listen, and share ideas, as I mentioned, this makes learning more interesting and active. Students are more motivated because they are not just sitting and listening to the teacher; they are part of the lesson during the lesson. Okay, and the second point is a sense of responsibility. In cooperative groups, everyone has a role to play. Each student is responsible not only for their our learning, but also for helping the group. Okay, when students know others depend on them, they become more focused and take listening and reading tasks more seriously. And also, finally, there is encouragement from peers. In a group, students help each other or give feedback, and then also celebrate success together. This support motivates learners, especially those who are shy or struggling, and also they feel more confident and more willing to try. Okay, I would like to talk about materials and activities we use it to teach receptive skills through cooperative language learning. Okay, in a cooperative classroom, students don't just listen to the teacher or read alone. Instead, they work together in pairs and using spatial tasks that help them understand and practice the language in an active and fun way. Okay, for example, for listening, we have audio recordings from conversations, interviews, or stories, and also video clips from movies or real life situations. And also for reading, we have short stories or articles, and also comics or dialogues or texts from textbooks or websites. Okay, cooperative language learning.
Thank you for your presentation. It was excellent. Have you got any questions, dear members of the commission? Neither. What kind of methods or techniques have you used while investigating comparative language learning?
Okay, we used the following techniques like theoretical analysis, studying existing research theories and the literature on comparative language learning, and also comparative method comparing traditional and the comparative learning methods to highlight the advantages of comparative language learning. And also, we have descriptive method, describing effective strategies, activities, and also materials used in cooperative learning for teaching receptive skills. And also, we have practical application, exploring real-life classroom practices and the practical steps for implementing CLL in teaching reading and listening.
Okay. Second chapter and the third subchapter, materials and activities in teaching receptive skills. You have include information and activity, yes?
Yes.
What can you give a detailed info? What is information and activity and how information and activity can include the receptive skills?
Okay, GET activity is focused on especially reading, and we during the game we give students the text, and in the text there are they should fill in the gaps, and there are some gaps in the text, and they should write following sentences there.
Using the information get activities to maybe you have two teachers, maybe timetable, which some elements or some parts of the same picture misses in the second picture, and they should come. Yes. Maybe here it will be useful for improving the listening skill and speaking. Usually it's effective for speaking, improving speaking.
Thank you.
So, Nida, you have mentioned about the role of motivation in teaching receptive skills. Yeah? Could you give the examples of the motivation? What kind of motivation we can give to receptive skills?
Okay. During the lessons, teachers give a lot of techniques or games, or also games or etc. And and also maybe they encourage students with pictures or videos from YouTube, like these apps, and also like this. Yes.
Thank you, Mida. The next presenter.
Next presenter is Ibrahim Radosulu with her work peculiarities of using total physical response method in teaching English at primary school. Her scientific advisor is candidate of pedagogical science, Johnson Kuzumbayev Cevat Aminbayevich.
Good morning, dear respected professor, teachers, and students. Dear students, let me introduce myself.
My full name is Ibrahim Pamurslu, and my scientific advisor is Cevat Kurbanbay Hamidbayevich. And our qualification work about peculiarities of using the total physical response method in teaching English at primary school. And the structure of the qualification paper included introduction, two chapters, and the conclusion. And last one, the list of the literature. And in the context of the globalization, English plays a vital role in global communication across education, such as technology, business, and international cooperation. And therefore, teaching English from early grades has become a priority in many countries, including Uzbekistan. And however, teaching foreign languages to primary school learners is not without its challenges. Young learners often lack of concentration, become easy bored, and struggle with the abstract concepts. This calls engaging and effective teaching strategies. And one such of the method is total physical responses, developed by James Asher, which connects language input with physical activity. And theoretical background of the TPR from total physical responses. History, the method was developed by the James Asher, late 1960s. How children acquire their first language. He noted that they begin with a long period of listening and physical responses before speaking. A qualitative case study method was used. Data were gathered through classroom observations, teacher interviews, video recording, and students' responses. Each student was assigned a code from C1 to C6, and each lesson was labeled lesson 1 from lesson 1 to lesson 5, and researchers routed between teacher and observer rules. And analysis of the findings of the research findings showed that TPR effective supported vocabulary acquisition and increased participation and created a stress-free learning environment. For example, C2 showed strong vocabulary comprehension, through your attention decreased slightly in lesson 4. And C4 improved in physical responses and motivation. And C5, initially shy, gained confidence and began participating actively. And teachers confirmed that total physical responses motivated students, helped with memory, and suited the learning style of young children. Challenges including lesson preparation time and limited, suitable for older learners or large classes. And our qualification work confirms that the total physical response method is highly effective for teaching English vocabulary to primary school learners. It reflects natural language development, reduces anxiety, and promotes active participation. And total physical response is especially appropriate for early stages of language learning and helps children build a strong that English teachers be trained in TPR techniques, and this method is be integrated into early foreign language curricula for maximum benefits.
Which learning style this method is preferable to use?
Which style?
Yes, which learning style? Students may have different learning styles.
Yeah.
For me,
With playing games, songs, and the storytellings. Visual, kinesthetic.
kinesthetic learning is related.
Okay, so, could you give us one activity of your physical response and their process? How we can use this activity?
When I was practice time at school, the grade 3B class is the topic was body and action, and we taught them new vocabularies. For example, body parts. For example, head, shoulder, knees, and actions. Basic actions: jump, clap, and stand up, sit down. And this first activity, listen and do. The teacher gives a comment, for example, touch your nose, and the student physically respond.
Yeah. And then how we can assess?
Assess students, people's will new vocabularies will retain new vocabularies easily with a physical response.
Thank you for your presentation. Yes.
Yes, our last presenter is mastered by Sevara Ahmedkızı, with her work developing learners' reading skill using task-based language teaching. Her scientific advisor is Doctor of Philosophy and Philological Science, Yılmaz Rashid.
Okay, good morning, respected teachers and our dear students. And I'm going to introduce myself. My full name is Mrs. Sevara Ahmedkızı. And my scientific advisor is Professor Yılmaz Rashid. Okay, our research topic is about developing the learner's reading skill using task-based language teaching. Firstly, reading is one of the key skills in the learning language, and it helps us understand new words, improve grammar, and gain knowledge about different topics. But reading is a foreign language can be difficult for many learners. And the task-based language teaching is a teaching approach where learners complete real-life tasking using the target language. Okay, aim of our work is to demonstrate the effectiveness of certain kinds of task-based instruction on the development of learners' reading skills, and to encourage future teachers to use task-based language teaching to improve students' reading skills. Okay, why this topic is relevant? Firstly, task-based language teaching helps learners become more active during reading. Instead of just reading and answering questions, they do tasks that have a clear goal. This keeps them focused and motivated. Secondly, is a relevance emotion. And the second one is it improves real-life reading skills. For example, students can practice reading a blog post to find travel tips or read a new news article to summarize the main ideas. And these are skills we use in a real life. And the third one is a task-based language teaching supports critical thinking and independence. Learners are encouraged to read, understand, analyze, and use the information in different ways. This makes them more confident and autonomous readers. And the next one is the uh, what is a task-based language teaching? Firstly, what is a task? Task, as Solon said, task is a piece of work and taken for oneself or for others freely or for some reward. And in language learning, a task something we do using the language to real a goal. And task-based language teaching is a method we learn language by doing real tasks. And there has some key points. First one is the authentic communication. Authentic communication is we speak and write English as we would in a real life. For example, we might plan a school event and write a letter to friend. And next one is the learner autonomy and the creativity. It's students are free to express their own ideas and make shows and be creative. Next one is the teacher as facilitator. The teacher doesn't do all just talking. Instead, they guide and support us while we work on our tasks. Next one is the real world tasks. It's we do things we might really do outside the classroom, like finding information, comparing opinions, or giving advices. And the next one. Okay, task-based language teaching helps students develop learning skills through real-life tasks, including engagement, comprehension, and confidence. And the effective reading material should be authentic, level-appropriate, culture relevant, and connected to students' real-world needs and interests. And when teacher offer rich, varied, and meaningful reading experience, they support not only language development but also student personal, academic, and professional growth. Thank you.
Okay, your topic, developing learning skills using task-based teaching.
Yes.
In your work, you have mentioned about intensive and extensive reading. Yes.
Yes.
What is intensive reading and what is extensive?
Intensive, and you read
Okay, what kind of task very helpful in order to develop learner reading skills, in order to get high score examinations maybe. What kind of task very helpful, yes, in order to develop reading skills learning.
for example, group discussion or matching vocabularies. We firstly give students matching vocabulary tasks. This useful for students, and they learn firstly new vocabularies definitions, and then maybe the text understandable them.
Okay, apart from matching tasks very helpful.
brainstorming tasks maybe.
Brainstorming is the warm-up. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Have you got any questions? Okay, thank you for your presentations about each of the questions with us. Allah'ın